So one thing I didn't go over in my first video series was what I make my back springs out of. This is a big old sawmill saw blade that I bought at the 127 yard sale a few years back, and I've been using this for back springs on several of my knives. And matter of fact, there's one right there, just to give you a little size comparison. And so I didn't go over how I cut my blades out and make my back springs, so I just cut a big section out of that blade, and right here it is, and you can see my pattern of my back spring right here, and I'll simply just cut it out on the bandsaw. Also, the Damascus that I get from Alabama Damascus, here's a sheet of it. Brad forges that down in Alabama, and I buy sheets of it from him, and that's what's called stock removal. So I simply cut out the knife pattern and then come over here. You all have saw me using the 2x72 OBM awesome grinder. Not sponsored, but these guys are great. So I'll be putting on a different grit and grinding to the edges of the lines on both of these pieces. All right, have a good one. So y'all have seen me throwing some sparks in a prior short video. I'm gonna show you just a little bit of this grinding. Believe it or not, in all those 15 parts of the series that I put when I started up my new YouTube channel, I didn't know how to edit anything. So I just put a bunch of videos together. So I'm going to try to keep them a little shorter this time and show some of you some stuff. This right here, I've got this lined out. I didn't show this in the last video. Just cut this out with a bandsaw. Now I'm going to use the grinder to grind up to the lines and contour this blade out of Damascus steel. This is part of the saw blade I was talking about, and this is our back spring. Same thing, going to use the grinder to grind to the lines. I'm going to show just a little bit of it, but I'm not going to make a big, long, boring video out of it. Got it? You can thank me now or later. Okay, you can see what I'm doing right here. I'm actually using a 36 grit 2x72 belt on the grinder, and I'm pushing with a block of wood, and now I'm dipping it down in water to keep it cool. Got to keep it cool, and I'm just grinding on the edge. You can take off a lot of material at one time. You see how I'm running it across the edge there. That's a good way to take off material quickly, and I'm keeping it cool. And here I go again across the edge. It's getting a little hot. You can see I am wearing some gloves right now, but what I will do when I do my bevels is I will actually do it barehanded, because we do want to feel how hot we're getting the blade when we're grinding the bevels in. You can see here how easy it is just to keep grinding, and here's just another angle. You can see how much carbon is in the metal by those bright orange sparks. There I am dipping it down into the water again and getting right back up to. We're still using the 36 grit belt here, keeping it cool in the water. Here you can see we're back up at the other angle, still grinding on the blade. We were at the tang there, shifting over to the bottom of the blade, taking it up just to the lines, dipping it back down in the water again. Now I'm getting down at the end of the tang. That's the area on the top of the tang where the spring will lay, and later on we'll do some hand filing to get that adjusted, but just contouring down to the lines as close as we can. I will leave some of black magic marker areas in there, just getting it down close, keeping it good and cool, and again getting back down to the tang area on the bottom, gently taking off material. Those curved areas there, we will flip the grinder up horizontally and get those curved areas by grinding on the wheel itself. There we're going down the clip top of the knife, just gentle strokes across it, contouring the top of it. We're getting close to finishing what we're doing on this. I probably will go down to 60 grit and then ultimately a 220 on the edges before we mark our lines. Here we've brought the spring up, and I'm taking a big hunk of material off, getting that spring. Now this is that saw blade that you saw. Here's just a different angle, and you can see how much carbon is in that saw blade, which I didn't tell you. The big saw blade that I use a lot of times for back spring is tempered. It's good tempered steel. It's good and hardened. It's just right for back springs, but it's about 120 thousandths thick, close to 1/8 of an inch. Usually my pocket knives are around 90 to 100 thousandths thick, and I always make my blade and my springs the same size. Just another angle of how much carbon is in that saw blade. You can see those bright sparks coming out. Very high carbon content in the spring. We're going to do the same thing, contour it down, and yeah, that's the way we get our spring and our blade contoured.